Today we will be identifying and writing conclusion sentences. Today we will be talking about how to include strong conclusion sentences in our paragraphs. So what is a conclusion sentence? A conclusion sentence wraps up the whole paragraph. It restates the topic in a new way by adding some new information from the paragraph. Now let's practice finding the conclusion sentence that best fits the details in the paragraph. The next paragraph says earthquakes are natural disasters that are caused by movement on the Earth's surface. Earth has a few layers, and its top layer is its rocky crust. The crust is broken up into large pieces called tectonic plates. These plates move all the time. They usually move slowly, but sometimes two tectonic plates get stuck together. When these two tectonic plates finally move away from each other, energy is released. This release of energy causes an earthquake. If a small amount of energy is released, it will be a small earthquake. Most earthquakes are small. If a large amount of energy is released, it will be a large and powerful earthquake. Our next paragraph says the three factors that compose the fire triangle are heat, fuel, and access to oxygen. For example, if you wanted to build a campfire, you would need a match, heat source, firewood, fuel, and an open pit, access to oxygen. A fire that has easy access to all these three things, combined with the right weather and topography, can quickly spread into a wildfire. The only way to stop a fire is by removing one or more of the factors from the fire triangle. For example, you can take away a fire's access to oxygen by smothering it with water or dirt, thereby extinguishing the fire. Now let's look at our choices for the best possible conclusion. Remembering that the conclusion needs to restate the topic sentence, it also should include some new information from the paragraph to best help summarize the entire paragraph. So as I look at my choices, letter A, make sure to have firewood to start your fire. That's just one aspect that they talked about that would be including firewood as fuel, but that doesn't really tell us what the whole thing was about. Heat, fuel, and oxygen are needed to start a fire. Now, yes, that would be restating the topic sentence, but it doesn't add anything to it to summarize the entire paragraph. Now, let's take a look at choice C. To avoid spreading a wildfire, know the land, watch the weather, and avoid keeping the three elements of the fire triangle together. Now, this to me is my strongest conclusion. It does talk about my topic sentence up here, which are the three elements of the fire triangle. I do talk about it down here in my conclusion. I also include other information that was included in the paragraph, such as how to not quickly spread a wildfire. By spreading a wildfire, you need the three elements of the fire triangle as well as the right weather and the right type of land. So therefore, choice C is my best answer. Now we're going to read through details from a paragraph and write an appropriate conclusion sentence. The next paragraph says, there are many ways the plates of the Earth interact. In a normal fault, the plates are separating. In a reverse fault, the plates are running into each other. In a slip fault, the plates move in opposite directions, with one plate sliding against the other. Slip faults cause the most dramatic earthquakes. The edges of the plates can actually lock together as they slide against each other, building up pressure. Then, in an instant, the pressure releases. So as I'm reading through this, I'm seeing that there are different types of ways that the plates can interact with each other and react to each other. And the way that they react and interact determines the type of earthquake that will happen. So I'm going to conclude by putting some of the thoughts in that paragraph together to come to my own conclusion. So, in conclusion, the way the plates of the Earth interact and react to each other determines the type of earthquake. And that is wrapping up and summarizing several of the details throughout the paragraph. The next paragraph says, the location of the earth begins at the epicenter. An earthquake's most intense shaking is often felt near the epicenter. However, the vibrations from an earthquake can still be felt and detected hundreds or even thousands of miles away from the epicenter. So as I'm reading this, I know that one of the most important things is the epicenter is where the earthquake begins. And as I read, I see that it is the most intense. So to conclude, I'm going to say, in conclusion, if you are feeling the most intense and powerful effects of the earthquake, then you are most likely near the epicenter. This conclusion sentence tells me that the center of the earthquake begins with the epicenter, and I'm also concluding that it's the most powerful. Now it's your turn. Please go to your assignment on Teams and complete the activity. You will need to do some examples of what I just showed you in the video. Go back to the video if you need help.